Hi Virgo, welcome to your September 2019 love reading. We're going to start with a general love spread for singles, couples, and exes, and then we will continue with a spread focusing exclusively on exes. And if you need specific answers for your personal situation, you can always reach out to me by either going to my website, channeledguidance.com, or you can just send me an email at channeledguidancetarot@yahoo.com. Okay, let's go ahead and see what cards jump for you. You did have two jumping cards. Well, you had jumping cards from both decks. From this deck, you had the Queen of Wands, and then you had the Lovers. So for some of you, you might be meeting a fire sign, which would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. This can be somebody that you're meeting, or this could be somebody that you're involved with now. You also had the Lovers card. So the Lovers can represent the sign of Gemini, but this also just represents maybe a relationship that you want to hold on to very much. This is a relationship that you really want to happen, possibly with this fire sign that we see here. Now from this deck, you had the Page of Swords jump for you. So the Page of Swords represents honesty, the truth. It could be that you're finally hearing the truth about what really happened with an ex, or somebody could be coming clean with you as far as their feelings for you. You might even be hearing the truth about your partner from someone else. So let's go ahead and put these back in the deck. These are just jumping cards, and let's see what comes up for you from this deck right here. This is a love reading for the sign of Virgo for September 2019. The first card you have, Virgo, is the Chariot. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. King of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Six of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Ace of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Seven of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Ten of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Seven of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Virgo for September. You also have Temperance in reverse. What's the most important thing that Virgo needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? The message you have, Virgo, is the Princess of Wands, which is actually the Page of Wands. So for some of you, you could be hearing some important communication as far as a relationship or a marriage. The Page of Wands does represent good news, but this can even be just change, something exciting happening in your love life. This could even be finding a new relationship. This is adventure, excitement, and happiness. So we'll come back to this card in a minute and see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. Let's go ahead and see what you have going on here in the spread. So at the center of the reading here, there is a lot of confusion. You have the Seven of Cups. So there's something going on with either you or the person that you love where someone is just overwhelmed emotionally. This is a very confusing time. It could be that there's just a lack of clarity as far as what's going to happen next. For some of you, a relationship could have ended in a very painful way with the Ten of Swords. There could have been a betrayal. It could be that for some of you, you're not able to move on from a relationship that ended. The Ten of Swords does mean that it is time to move on. For some of you, maybe it is time, but for others, it's just that you're still deeply hurt. You're still deeply hurt over something that someone did to you. With this card, either someone has stabbed you in the back, betrayed you, lied to you, cheated on you, and you're not able to move on from this. Maybe because you don't have clarity. Maybe you don't know what happened with this person. There's a lot of emotional energy here. Again, this could also just be choices. Someone is overwhelmed with the choices that they have to make, to where they're just really very, very lost. Your energy is popping up here as the King of Pentacles. But if you have a partner who's also either a Virgo, a Taurus, or a Capricorn, this can represent their energy. You also have the Chariot, which does represent the sign of Cancer. But this just represents victory. I feel like whatever it is that you're struggling with here, you're struggling moving on in some way. Maybe because someone has deeply hurt you. You just had really maybe bad luck in relationships and romance. There is a strong energy here of you finally succeeding and finding the perfect relationship, or maybe finally succeeding in a relationship where there has been a lot of pain and maybe even betrayal. This is victory. You also have the Six of Swords here, which is also, this is movement. This is being in a much healthier place. Again, you're getting away from this painful energy. The month of September is offering you a healthy change, a healthy opportunity. And for some of you, this can be in a new relationship. I do feel for most of you, maybe not everyone, for most of you, the Ace of Wands is a new love coming in, a new person coming in for you. Remember, you did have, I think it was either the King or the Queen of Wands jump for you at the beginning of the reading. So if you're, maybe you've left a relationship because you were hurt, or maybe, you're thinking of just moving on because there's just been so many issues, there could be a new relationship here with the Ace of Wands. This is a new life. Of course, for those of you where you don't want to move on and you're trying to work on a relationship or a marriage, the Ace of Wands can be a clean slate with this person where there's been a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. Again, the month of September is offering you a healthy change. This is a chance for you to leave a really difficult time, a really painful time behind you, and move on to a much healthier place, calmer waters, with the Six of Swords. And there's a lot of movement in your love life with the Chariot. A healthy change to kind of move you out of this difficult energy. Now, I do see you have decisions to make. You have the Seven of Pentacles. There are decisions that you have to make. So we see that here, and then we see it here also with the Seven of Cups. Now the sevens, and you have two here so far. I'm going to get a few more cards. The sevens do represent change. So it is time for change for the sign of Virgo, but it's also time for decisions. So I don't know, but this is a general reading. So it's either you that, it's just time for decisions. You have to make decisions, maybe in a relationship or a marriage where there's been a lot of pain. You have to make decisions, and it's just time for change with the sevens. But the Seven of Pentacles does mean that you have to be cautious. Take your time in making a decision, especially, with the Prince of Pentacles right next to it, which is a Knight of Pentacles. The Prince of Pentacles is all about slow progress and slow movement. So things might be moving slowly. For some of you, it could be that you're waiting maybe to hear from a partner where maybe there's a third party and you're waiting to see if you're the one that's going to be picked as far as a relationship. You have Temperance here. Now, upright, this card does represent being patient, letting things happen naturally. But it's actually in reverse. So it could be that for many of you, you're very impatient, especially with this decision and this decision pending here. I feel like the sign of Virgo, like you're on edge in the month of September. There is some type of choice. Either you're making a decision, a choice regarding your love life, a relationship, a marriage, or someone else is making a choice where you're extremely impatient. And this card upright, it does mean just let everything happen naturally. Don't panic. Don't do anything extreme. But it's in reverse. So I feel like you are panicking. You are panicking and you do want to take extreme action. It's a general reading, so it's hard to say, but I feel like for some of you, you might have to take kind of extreme action. There are decisions that have to be made here. I feel like you have been through enough here with the Ten of Swords, and it's time for a healthy change. It's time for things to be much calmer for you. Let me get a few more cards so we can get more clarity on this. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo for September 2019? You have the Three of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo for September? Interesting, the Hangman. And then the Eight of Wands. So the Three of Wands does mean that, there is waiting involved. So there's waiting with the Three of Wands, and then kind of, this period of being stuck, being in limbo. So, I feel like, there's waiting and you're tired of this. And for some of you, you could be taking action. I feel like for some of you where you've been waiting for a long time for someone to make a decision, either about your marriage, your relationship, or maybe, there's another person involved, a third party. You're not going to just sit around and wait in the month of September. That's not what this card in reverse represents. This is just taking extreme action. So, again, there's waiting here. You've been in limbo as far as your love life. You felt stuck, but there is change here. This is the change that you've been waiting for. It's finally manifesting. I'm getting the message for some of you, you're going to be taking extreme action in the month of September. You could be giving someone an ultimatum. It could even be yourself that you've been putting off. You've been procrastinating. You've been putting off making a decision, taking action. You've been in limbo long enough, and you're ready. With the Eight of Wands, you're ready for that big change. The Eight of Wands always represents excitement, something that has been in the works for quite some time finally manifesting for you. This can even be important communication. Remember that you did have the Page of Wands as the main energy. So for some of you, there is communication coming in for you. Again, this is always good news. So if you've been waiting to hear from someone, You could be hearing from them in the month of September, or if you've been waiting to reach out to someone with this Three of Wands, waiting for that perfect timing, the perfect timing is now. Okay, so let's see what comes up from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo for September 2019? Two of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo for September? You've got Death and the Hierophant. What's the most important message that Virgo needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? Interesting. Queen of Wands, because I know the King or the Queen of Wands jumped at the beginning of the reading. So there is a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. So a fire sign could be the person maybe where, you know, there was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, or it can even be somebody new coming into your life. There's definitely fire sign energy around the sign of Virgo. Now let's look at these three cards. You do have the Hierophant here, so some of you might be dealing with the sign of Taurus. You have Death, which could be the sign of Scorpio. But I mean, what I see here is, you know, here we go again. There are decisions that have to be made. It's not just one card. It's 1, 2, 3. You have a strong message here that somebody has to make a decision. Somebody has to finally, you know, take the step. What is it that you've been waiting to do? If it's not you, then it's the person that you love. There are decisions that have to be made. You can't run away from them, especially with this Two of Swords, because the Two of Swords does represent stuck energy, and as it is, you already have the Hangman. For some of you, it could be that, you know, your love life has not been moving forward because you've been waiting. Two of Swords, you've been waiting for somebody to make a decision. Now with the Two of Swords, it means that you're dealing with something that's very complicated. It's very tricky, and it's almost impossible to make a decision. It could be because there's someone else involved. Maybe you're in love with someone who's already in a relationship or married, and it's really maybe difficult for them to get away from that relationship. I see a decision that has to be made, and I feel like it will be made in the month of September. You have Death, which is a huge transformation in your love life. This is a very dramatic ending and then a dramatic new beginning. This is something that will change your life forever. Some of you might also be entering a relationship with someone in the month of September that would change everything for you. This would definitely be a soulmate relationship with the Hierophant here. This is a card of kindred spirits and soulmates. And remember, you did have the Queen of Wands as a main energy, and it also jumped for you. So some of you could definitely be connecting with a fire sign in the month of September. Let me see if anything else jumps out at me here before we move on to the X spread. So again, there is a strong theme of decisions. Two of Swords, Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. There will be decisions, choices that need to be made in the month of September, because otherwise, Two of Swords and the Hangman, you're stuck. You're in limbo. So if you're the one where you've been dragging it out, not making a decision about a relationship or a marriage, you need to make that decision in the month of September. If you've been waiting for a partner to make that decision, it could be that you're going to lose it in the month of September. You're tired of waiting. And maybe you're going to be giving them an ultimatum, like, you choose me or I'm gone. It's time for a healthy change for you. I feel like you've been put through enough, and you have a new beginning here with the Ace of Wands. There is a new life waiting for you. But for some of you, you could be very confused as far as, will you continue to wait, or will you just accept this new beginning? There could be definitely a new person coming in for you, perhaps a fire sign. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it, and you did have quite a few jumping cards. So let me go ahead and get these out of the way. I'm going to show you all these jumping cards. There were a whole bunch of them, but I just feel like they all kind of had a theme. So I want to show them to you and then put them back in the deck. So the cards that jumped were these. Let me just show them to you in the order that I saw them. You have the Six of Swords, which is actually in the first spread. So the Six of Swords is saying, as far as you and your ex, there's an opportunity for a healthier relationship, for calmer waters. You also have the Five of Wands, which could be, maybe they're feeling conflicted about coming back to you. You could have a rival as well with the Five of Wands. You have the Lovers. So this is showing there's still a significant connection. This is a relationship that you want very much. You have a new beginning here with the Ace of Pentacles. Perhaps there's a new beginning that's possible in the month of September. Nine of Pentacles, which you really don't want to see this card in a love reading because it does represent sometimes a selfish energy. Somebody's choosing just to focus on themselves. The Seven of Swords, which can represent deceit or someone just being their own worst enemy. And the Ten of Wands, a heavy burden. Perhaps somebody feeling like giving up as far as their ex. So again, these are all just jumping cards. I'm going to put them back in the deck here. And let's see what comes up for you. Show us the energies around Virgo and their ex for the month of September. You're starting with the Eight of Wands, which came up in the first spread. Virgo and their ex for September. Nine of Cups. Virgo and their ex for September. Two of Swords, which also came up in the first spread. Virgo and their ex for September. Three of Cups. Virgo and their ex for September. Seven of Wands. Virgo and their ex for September. Two of Wands. Virgo and their ex for September. Queen of Cups. Virgo and their ex for September. Ace of Wands, also from the first spread. Virgo and their ex for September. And the Page of Wands, which was the main energy in the first spread. Okay, so you have a lot of repeat cards. So these are strong messages for you. Again, the Eight of Wands, the Two of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and even the Page of Wands. So again, we're asking about your ex, someone who's no longer in your life. But I still see a lot of happiness here. Nine of Cups and Three of Cups. So it seems for many of you, there's still that possibility of things turning around for you. Things changing in a positive way. The Nine of Cups does represent a wish being granted. But again, it also just represents you being extremely happy, extremely fulfilled. There's a sense of celebration here when I'm asking about your ex. This is you feeling on top of the world. There's still, that elephant in the room. There's a decision that has to be made. It seems for some of you, there's something just really complicated between you and your ex. It could be maybe that they're involved with someone else. Remember, you had the Five of Wands jump for you, which can sometimes represent a rival. This is just a very tricky decision that has to be made. But I do see you being extremely happy here with the outcome with the Nine of Cups. You also have the Eight of Wands, which has repeated itself in the first spread. So this is excitement. This is you maybe being very excited to hear from your ex again. It's the first card, so I always say the first card's always really significant. If you've been waiting for them for a long time, because this card always indicates a long wait. And I also see waiting here with the Two of Wands. If you've been waiting to hear from your ex for a very long time, this does mean that when you least expect it, they pop up again. Again, I see you being extremely happy here. It could be that your ex had a really tricky decision to make when it comes to reaching out to you. I see you waiting here with the Two of Wands. It can be definitely that you've been waiting for a long time for them. You've been waiting for them to come back to you. But I mean, I feel like because you've been waiting, you might need to get answers. You have the Seven of Wands, which means that you really have to speak your truth. So if you feel like you never had closure when they left your life, maybe you don't really know what happened, this is saying speak up for yourself, stand your ground, be firm with them. But again, I see you being very happy here. This can even represent marriage. I just noticed that you have the Two of Swords and Two of Wands. The twos do represent choices and decisions, and you had that same theme in the first spread that I did for you with the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, even the Two of Swords. So still, it's continuing into the spread. For some reason, the sign of Virgo, like you, even when dealing with an ex, there are choices, decisions that have to be made. And it's something that's very complicated, very tricky. Again, it could be complicated for exes because maybe somebody moved on already, but maybe there's still feelings there. Again, you've been waiting. There's a strong message of waiting. You've been waiting for your ex for a very long time, but you also have a strong energy here of happiness, of you being extremely happy. For some of you, the ex could possibly be a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, male or female, Sun, Moon, or Rising. There is a new beginning next to this person. The Ace of Wands. This is a repeat card from the first spread, so that's always significant. And this is a clean slate. This is what you want to see when you're asking about an ex, because it represents all is forgiven, all is forgotten, and you're able to heal and move on together. You also have this with the Page of Wands, which is a repeat card from the first spread because it was the main energy, which is right here. I'm actually looking at it here. So it's the same card. So this can represent good news. So you start with the message of communication, the Eight of Wands, which could be a very exciting message from your ex, and then you end with that same message, excitement, adventure. I feel like for some of you, you could be very excited to hear from them again. You could be very excited to connect with them again. I just feel like the sign of Virgo, you've been waiting for a very long time to hear from this person or to reconnect with them. There's been something very tricky, very complicated, maybe keeping them from coming back. Okay, let me get a few more cards and let's see what other messages come up. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo about their ex for September 2019? Six of Swords, which was from the first spread. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo for September? Interesting. Now you have the King and the Queen of Cups, so strong water sign energy. And the Six of Wands. Okay, so again, I feel like for many of you, the Six of Swords just represents a healthy change. This means that your relationship with your ex, you can reconnect with them based on everything that I see here. And I feel like if you had a lot of issues when you were a couple, you can actually have a much healthier relationship the second time around. You also, again, King and Queen of Cups, so strong water sign energy. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. If you have a moon or rising in a water sign, it could be that your energy is strong around them, that they're thinking about you. You also have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is just victory. This means that any obstacles, especially this Two of Swords, whatever was very, very complicated about your relationship or getting back together, this represents being able to get past those obstacles. Now you also have, let's see, you have the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands. So the sixes do represent balance and harmony. For some reason, I feel like something could be out of balance as far as your ex, where that sense of balance has to return in order for them to reach out to you here with the Eight of Wands. Communication. Okay, let me get the confirmation deck and let me just give it a quick shuffle and see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo about their ex? September 2019. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo about their ex? September 2019. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo about their ex for September 2019? Okay, so let's see what comes up for you. Let me just get 3 cards. What other messages are there for the sign of Virgo about their ex? You have the Ten of Wands. Messages for the sign of Virgo about their ex. The Ten of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands. So interesting, the Page of Wands is a repeat card. Here we go. Same card, different deck. So communication is strong here. There could definitely be good news coming from your ex. Also just a very exciting message. Perhaps they let you know they're still thinking about you. Perhaps they've let you know that they've never stopped loving you. So yeah, strong message of communication. 1, 2, 3. 3 cards that represent communication. But you also have this, there's some type of burden around you and your ex. You have the Ten of Wands. It could be maybe that you're starting to give up on them. The Ten of Wands just is an energy of someone who just feels like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I feel like that's the message for most of you. But if there was a lot of difficult things that happened, maybe there was a betrayal or maybe you were cheated on, you did have the Ten of Swords in the first spread, it could be that maybe this needs to be worked through. You need to heal this before you reconnect with this person. Because I do see a relationship here. You have the Ten of Pentacles. This is something that's very committed. This could be a long-term relationship, if not marriage. For some of you, maybe you're just tired of waiting for this person to return to you. Again, waiting here with the Three of Wands and waiting here with the Two of Wands. You've been waiting for a long time. But again, with the Eight of Wands as the first card, this means that in the month of September, there's a strong chance that the wait is over. You're finally maybe hearing what you want to hear, or you're finally able to kind of get back together. Again, there's been something very complicated, maybe keeping your ex from you. Maybe they've been confused. Maybe they're the ones that maybe had to make a difficult decision. Maybe there's been another person in the picture. But for some reason, 9 of Cups and 3 of Cups, when it comes to your ex, for the month of September, I see you celebrating. I see you being extremely happy. Okay, Virgo, this has been your love reading for September 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.